You're listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast with your host, Joshua Lazenby. The Lazenby Experience podcast is a podcast to help individuals find their way to their success. Whether it's going to a four-year university, community college, trade school, or anything else, my goal is to be a resource to help you along the way. I'll be sharing my personal ups and downs, as well as tips as I continue my journey to receive my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. I will also have guests to share their stories, advice, and experiences. So come along for the ride as you begin your journey to your success. Welcome back to another episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I say thank you for tuning in. I really hope this becomes something that can help you along in your future endeavors. So moving forward, this is episode number 5, and this is part 2 of preparing for a career fair. If this is your first episode, I would recommend you go back to episode number 4 and listen to that episode, and then come back to this one, because this will give you more in-depth information. The first episode or first part of this series was just a general overview of how to prepare for a career fair. So like what to wear, the general things of what to put in a resume, and that kind of thing. So for this episode, I'll be focusing on how to do company research. So when you go into a career fair of any type, it's very important that you do research before you go to that career fair, because companies are not just looking for anybody to come looking to work for them. They're looking for people who are actually enthusiastic and actually knowledgeable about their company. So make sure you know something about their company before you enter into the career fair. Luckily, if you continue watching this, you'll be able to have a better way, or a way of figuring out how to get information from their company. So moving on. So I think the top 2 things when going to a career fair is first having knowledge about the company, which is going to be this episode, and then how to write a well-written resume, which will be the next episode after this one. I will also be sharing my resume that helped me get the different positions that I have gotten so far. Just as an example, instead of just pulling a random one out of the internet, I want to show you one that actually worked in real life. So that will be the next episode. So moving forward with this episode, the first thing I want to talk about is why is company knowledge important. So the first thing about company knowledge and why it's important, it shows the recruiter that you have some interest in the company, that you know something. I think I shared I shared the story last time, that the first time I went to a career fair when I was in college, it was at a conference with NSBE, an organization I'm a part of. And one of the first companies that I went to, they gave the guy my resume, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, okay, well, so what do you know about us? And I knew absolutely nothing. I couldn't figure out anything. I couldn't just make up anything, because he knew about the company. So after about a few seconds, he realized I didn't know anything about the company. So he literally gave me back my resume and said, go find out more information about us and then come back. I will tell you, I did not come back because I was embarrassed. And again, that was my first career fair, so I didn't know really what to do. So I want to help you avoid that kind of reaction or that kind of experience. So hopefully you take some notes on this as well, so you can do your own research. Next thing why it's important, it helps you stand out among other candidates. Like any other candidate that probably came after me, if they say one thing about the company, is a lot better than what I did. So make sure you know something about the company, so you can stand out amongst the other candidates or other people who go up to their booth. Next, it also, for your sake, it gives you an opportunity to figure out what they really do, and if it's something that you're really interested in. So that is not really about the recruiter or your interaction with the recruiter. Is more about, is this really a company that I want to work for? Of course, you can't find out everything about a company looking at their website, but you can find about a few things that can lead you in the right direction of what they do, how they do things, and that kind of thing. And then that kind of question might actually come up in the interview or within a career fair. A company might ask you, so why do you want to work with us, or why do you want this certain position? So having that kind of information can help you tell them why you truly want to work for them. And then the last reason why having company knowledge is important is doing your research. While you're doing your research, you can also apply to different positions you find interesting if it's available on their website. A lot of companies nowadays do have their positions that are open, available on their website, but there might be some few companies that actually want you to apply in person or want to get to know you at a career fair before they let you know about the different positions they have available. So like I said, if they do have those positions online, go ahead and apply for them. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, but apply for them and make sure you make a note of which ones you apply for as well. And I do want to say one thing. All this information that I'm about to go over today, you do not have to memorize. Going to career fair, it's not like you're going to take a test. You can have cheat sheets. You can have information while you're at the career fair. So once you get there, you can continue to look over it. And then right before you go talk to them, you can have that information right in your head, so you can have a better chance of saying what you need to say instead of messing up while you're talking to them. So don't try to remember or memorize anything beforehand. All you have to do is write it down, or if you like to use computers and type it out, print it out, bring it with you, and as you're waiting in line to talk to that company, go over that information, keep saying it in your head, and then once you get up in front of the line, you'll be able to have a good elevator pitch and be able to talk about their company. Okay, so moving forward. So I wrote down some key information to know about the company. Let's see things. Okay, so when I talk about where you can find it on their website, every company have different websites that use different names for different things. So I'm going to go over what are some common names, but you will have to look around and make sure you're going to the right tab. And it's okay if you have to go back or if you have to press a different tab. But these are maybe some names that some companies use for different things on their website. So going forward, one of the things that you want to have on that information sheet, that you want to bring with you about the company, is knowing about the products or services that company offer. And not just the products or services, but the ones that interest you, because you want to show them, again, why you are interested in that company. So if you're bringing up something just because they made it or just because they use that service, if it's not something that interests you, you're not going to be that enthusiastic to talk about it. So make sure it's something that interests you. And then some of the tabs that might be used to find those things on their website might be called products/services or something like that. So be on the lookout for those key terms when you're looking at their website to find the different products and services that they offer. This might be the easiest thing to look up on their website, because the way the company makes money is through their products and services. So they want to make sure people can get to that as easily as possible. The next things you want to have, so I said have at least one or two of those. The next thing is you want to have at least one or two things that the company do outside of their core business. So that can include volunteering or donating, if they give scholarships to different schools or different people, if they have competitions, or if they have like programs for the community, like STEM programs or something like that. These are key things also to note, because you want to make sure that if you do get the opportunity to work for them, they actually have something there outside of their company that they do that you also enjoy doing. The company that I work for now, in Indianapolis, they, or at least for the co-ops, even not just for the co-ops, for the whole company, but I can't even say the word. Specifically for the co-ops or the interns, every rotation they have us do at least one volunteer activity that we all participate in. When I think is really cool. Last summer, which I worked for the same company, we did Habitat for Humanity, and that was the first time I ever did anything like that. And it was a cool experience, but it was probably the last time I ever do Habitat for Humanity. But I think the people that do are great. It's a great organization that does service for the community. It's just not the kind of work I know I can see myself doing for a long time. But again, it was a great experience. I had a great time with the other interns as well as the people who volunteer on a regular basis. But that's just one thing a company can do. Like I said, they can do where is it? They can give scholarships to high school or other college students. They can have other programs that they have in their community. So it's all the things that they can do that can interest you outside of their core business. And another tab that you might be able to find that information on, if you look for a tab that might say community, or it might say about us, and then maybe underneath that tab about us, they have different sections that you can click on. So definitely look for those two words. Again, if those two words for some reason are not on those main tabs when you go to their website, just keep pressing every tab you can until you find what you're looking for. And then some other things I think that will be great to have listed, that to have on your list of things about the company, include if they have a diverse leadership. So a lot of companies, they will have their leadership, like their CEO, their vice president, all those type of leadership. They have their name and sometimes their picture. So what I usually do is I go to their leadership and I just scroll down and see how diverse they are. Is it all white men? Is it all women? Is it all men? If it's not and it's very diverse, I usually write that down and say when I go to a career fair, I usually say I like that your leadership is diverse, because that shows that I can possibly move up within a company. But if that company doesn't look like they have a diverse leadership, do not bring it up. It just won't look good if you say it's diverse and it's really not. I don't know if the recruiter actually know all the leaders within their company like that. But don't just say it just to say it. Make sure it's actually true. And then again, that can be found probably in the about us tab. And then if it comes down, it might have like a leadership tab or something of that sort. Next, I will look to see if they have any professional development programs. Within engineering, a lot of companies have professional development programs for new graduates. So instead of going into an entry-level job, they have kind of like a rotational program where they can be developed in different aspects around their company. So they might spend 6 months doing this job or doing this or being in this position, and then the next 6 months they might do another job, maybe even a different city or state or something like that. So check that out. I think those are great experiences, especially for younger students who graduate, because you get a lot of experience around their company. You're not just working on one thing, you're working on several things that can get you more interested about the company, and then it makes you more well-rounded. So when you finish the program, you can kind of choose of where you want to go and what best suits you. So if they do have a program like that, you can let them know that you're interested in that kind of program, and that kind of thing excites you. Another thing you want to make note of is if they have any innovations or anything that's coming out that is new to the company. So if they have new products or new services that are probably in research and development or something like that, you can talk about that. which actually is my next thing, research and development. So innovation and then research and development, kind of the same thing. If they have a tab that says something like innovation or research and development or sustainability, any of those kind of tabs will have that information if they have anything coming up within the pipeline. Of course, it might not say everything about that product or service, but you can jot down some things that they do have on their website that talks about that new innovation or that research and development that they're working on. Again, I wouldn't write it down if it's not something that you're actually interested in, because again, it's not going to excite you. It's not going to make you really naturally put a smile on your face when you talk about it. You might be able to pull it off if you're really comfortable in that kind of situation, but if you're not, and it's not something that you actually interested in, it might not look very well when you're trying to talk to the person at the career fair. Okay, I think that's everything that's on this side of the paper. Let's go to the next. Okay, so those were the things that I think you should take note of. So once you go to career fair, you can be well rounded as far as knowing what the company does, what you like about the company, and that kind of thing. So here are some other things that you can do while you're on the website. Most of these things are more for you than for the career fair, but it can definitely get you prepared for the career fair. So the first thing is looking up positions that you're interested in. So while you're in the website, they usually have a tab that says careers. Depending on what kind of company it is, the career tab might be at the top somewhere, or it might be all the way at the bottom in small print. So you really have to kind of look for it sometimes. But if you go to there, it will have different things that you can click on once you click on careers, because some of the time they have like entry-level positions. They have the professional development program that I was talking about. They might have leadership positions and that kind of thing. So you have to find what you're looking for. So if it's like an internship or co-op, they might have a tab for that, or some you can click on for that. If you're just looking for an entry level position, they should have a tab for that as well. So definitely look for positions that you're interested in, and then apply to those positions. It always look very well when you go to a career fair and you not only say what positions you're interested in, but you say, I already applied to these positions. Recruiters, they like, oh, you really applied for this already? And then they usually write on your resume, okay, he or she applied to this and that, and we already have that information for you already. So they really like that. And then make sure you write down the positions you apply for, because if you say, oh, I applied for some positions, and they ask you what position, you're like, oh, I forgot. Then they really can't do it. I mean, they can look in the system. It makes it a little harder for them. But you want to make it as easy as possible for the recruiters to look up what you apply for. So if you have the position names, make sure you let them know when they ask for it. And of course, when you apply for those positions, don't just read the title, read the description. Most of the time, they have a small snippet, like a mission statement of the company and like how many employees they have and that kind of thing. And then it goes on to the description of what that job or that position might do. And then it talks about also the qualifications that you should have in order to get for that position. So a lot of companies talk about the position, and then they say you need a 4-year college degree in this related field. You might need this amount of years of experience and that kind of thing. So make sure, even if you don't line up perfectly and you feel that you would enjoy that position or do well at that position, I would still apply for it, because you never know. So apply for it, write it down, and make sure you let the recruiter know. Even if they don't ask for that information, make sure you somehow slip it in that you apply for these positions. And then the last thing is, make sure you bring a list. I think I said this already, but bring a list of positions you apply for. So that can be on the paper that has the company information on it. for you. So that, I think that is all information that I will include on that piece of paper that has all the company knowledge on there for you. But you can always get confused if you don't organize it correctly. So just to help you keep it organized, here are some tips on that. So first, write out on paper, or you can type it out. Have the name of the company either in bold, in or underlined, so you can know that everything that comes after the title or the name of the company is for that company. Next, I will have the products in or services that you're interested in. So have those one or two products that you find interesting, and have those in bullet points so it can be easy for you to look at and kind of read as you're going down the list. After you have those products and services, I will also have the things outside the core business that you're interested in that company does. So if you found that company volunteers specifically, like at a library every month or every year or something like that, you can write that down. If they have the STEM program that they go to every year or that they host every year, you can write that down. And that, again, it can be one or two things. It doesn't have to be a lot. And then the next thing I put, and then the other things that you find interesting that the company does. So like I talked about with the research and development, the innovation, the leadership program, what else did I put? And I put if they have leadership and diversity in leadership. So you can write those bullets down as well. Again, all of these different, I guess, types of information that you will have, I will make no more than one or two bullets, because you're not going to have that much time to talk to the company, so you won't be able to go down the list. But having some alternates, if you don't know what you want to talk about, or you don't know which item to talk about, you can have both of them on there, and then once you get up to that recruiter, you can select which one you want to talk about. And then after you have all that, the last thing you want to have is the positions you apply for. You don't have to. You don't have to have the description of that position. You can just say you apply to these different positions, and then maybe have a little snippet of why you apply for them, just in case they ask. Again, it's optional to have the little snippet, but at least have the positions that you apply for. If you apply for a lot of different positions, I'll probably have the top 2 or 3 that you're interested in, and then have those on there. Did that. And then after you have that, and then make the next company and put that in bold or underline, and then start out over with that company. So you keep doing that until you get down to your last company that you want to go to the career that you want to go up to for the career fair, and then just have that list. You can even number them, like if you want to make it from your most interested company to the least interested company, or vice versa. I will put it in some kind of order, just so you will know that looking at that list, you know what's the next company you want to talk to, and you'll have that information right there. You don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to flip pages or anything like that. So definitely have it in some type of order. And then, because this is more for you and not for the company, you really just need one copy of this, because you're the only person who will be looking at it. Of course, you can make more copies just in case something happens, like you left it somewhere or something fell on it, like some coffee or water or something like that, and it got ruined. Then you have more copies. And then also, I just thought about this. If you don't want to waste paper and kill trees, you can also, of course, use your phone. So if you want to just have a copy of it on your phone, just go through it on your phone and then put your phone away right before you're about to talk to the recruiter, you can definitely do that as well. That can work, and you won't lose it. You can have it on your phone. You won't get anything waste on it unless you lose your phone or drop your phone or something like that. So I think that is all that I have for today. It's a lot of good information, I think. If you're going to career fair anytime soon, I think this is a lot of great information to help you stand out amongst other candidates. But I think that is all. I do want to say one thing on my Instagram page, my personal Instagram page, and my Facebook page, the Lazenby Experience. I have a link on there where you can find all the ways that you can listen to this podcast. I have a lot of different ways now that you can listen to it. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, my Facebook page, Google Podcasts, which I didn't know was a thing until I started this podcast. Stitcher. It's a whole bunch of other things. So if you go to my Facebook page, the Lazenby Experience, you can find that link so you can listen to it any way that you like to listen to podcasts. And I think there's one other thing I want to talk about. Also, my email is lazenbyexperience@gmail.com. So that's LAZENBY experience@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want me to cover, or if you just want to email me, you can do that. I have my email on my phone, so I will always receive your emails or receive your requests for anything. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, please hit me up and let me know. I am more than willing to continue to help you along your path. And I want to see you be happy. I want to see you be successful. So, on that note, until next time, continue your success. Sorry, I messed up. Okay. I was doing so good too. But anyway, let me do it again. So until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success. Thanks for listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast with me, Joshua Lazenby. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something to help you along your journey to your success. The Lazenby Experience podcast will continue to be available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. If you really enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating, and write a comment. For any questions, you can reach me at lazenbyexperience@gmail.com. Until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success.